What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog back with the first of two breakdowns for the week. We have a Bellator breakdown or Bellator taking place on Saturday as well, earlier in the day from, I believe, Dublin, or from Italy,
Italy.
actually, Milan, sorry. But we're here to cover the UFC Vegas 63 Fight Night card, headlined by Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen. Fantastic featherweight fight. 6 straight main event for Calvin Kattar, which is shocking, I think, at least to me. I don't know about you, but we'll talk about Calvin Kattar and everything. We'll go into depth with that fight and the, 10 other fights now?
Yeah, I think there's 11 in total now.
11 now. After Joshua Weems was announced to take on Christian Rodriguez. Got to watch a bunch of Joshua Weems ahead of this fight to refresh myself on him. He might stop in, might not. He's got a big week going on, so we get if his schedule is changing and he can't. But if he pops in, we'll stop on that. But otherwise, it's what do you think about this card? How would you describe this card?
I would give it like a 6.5 out of 10. A lot of familiar names, right?
Okay. Sure, we recognize the names. I was a little perturbed by this card, I guess is a word you could use. I mean, we've got a Jared Vander, a third from the top on this card. We got Trey Gordon on the main card. Those are two guys who personally I haven't been a huge fan of, and I'm not going to shy away from. So just kind of buyer beware with certain fights. I'll make that clear ahead of time so that people can go to multiple sources, because some of these fighters I don't believe are all that great, and that's come back to bite me multiple times. So I do want to make that clear. But should be an interesting card. If I had to rate it, I would give it under a 5 probably.
Oh wow, okay.
But I do think that the end of the year we're having a little bit of kind of building up to pay-per-views, and with me going to UFC 281 in a couple weeks, I'm okay with that because I'm very excited about that card.
You're going?
Yeah, I'm going Madison Square Garden. I don't miss an MMA card at Madison Square Garden.
Right on. Frankie Edgar's retirement fight.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Last time I saw Frankie Edgar in Madison Square Garden was against my favorite fighter, Cheeto Vera. So got to see him win.
He was about to win on the cards too.
I know. I was about to say I got to see him win, 2 rounds before that head kick. But going to go into the 11 fight card, Moist with the carousel. Indeed, Moist. It is a carousel here. But, hey, we're here. I think there are some opportunities to make some money. We are starting with the Joshua Weems fight against Christian Rodriguez. It might stop in here, might not. All good either way. No worries always. But this is a interesting fight. Originally, Garrett Armfield was supposed to be in here against Christian Rodriguez. I do think that the short notice replacement for the other fight is a little more qualified and high quality than this short notice replacement of Joshua Weems. I'll be honest, with all due respect. We saw Joshua Weems on the Contender Series. He took on Fernie Garcia. You can go back through Fernie's record. He's never displayed that kind of power against anybody. Guard was up and Weems went down from an overhand right. Was in a way that made me kind of worried for him at this level, frankly, if he's involved in a lot of striking affairs. And we saw Christian Rodriguez last time out. Looks like the striking definitely is there. Good defensive grappler. Watching Joshua Weems was watching some grappling. Very good grappler. His last 2 wins coming by submission as well, including over Mo Miller in his last fight. Mo Miller was dealing with some injuries at the end of that fight. Looked like, not to make an excuse, but you got to survive that early onslaught from Mo Miller. Gonna definitely have to survive an early onset here from Christian Rodriguez. Indeed, stubborn Mick. Yeah. What up, Kelly? Good to see you here. Joshua is, it really is like a flying submission type of finish or bust for him. I think he gets put away pretty early here. Little nugget of information with Joshua was he was being preparing for a fight. However, it was December 18th and it had just been signed, the bout agreement. So, hopefully he's staying ready. took the opportunity here. I do know the opponent he was supposed to face as well. I'll leave that information out of this, but I feel his opponent should have gotten the call. I mean this with no disrespect, especially if he comes on here. But yeah, Christian Rodriguez knockout early on. Under 1.5 would be my take as well.
Yeah, this fight literally just got announced today. We're fortunate that we got the full UFC card to break down now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the very first fight. Rodriguez versus Weems. Weems coming in short notice. He's a finisher for sure. 9 out of 10 finishes. He can finish in round 1, round 2, round 3. So we know he has a gas tank. He's always dangerous. But yeah, he's coming in short notice. He should be in the gym year round. So yeah, he should still be in good condition. But Christian Rodriguez really got the short end of the stick with that UFC debut, like coming in short notice against JSP, Jonathan Pierce, who's a legitimate fighter. And he still showed a good account of himself. Like,
I agree.
He only lost by 1 round. It was 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. He got a couple takedowns, and he's coming from Rufus Sport, so a credentialed camp. So I like Christian Rodriguez, full camp here. Weems, round 1, round 2, he's going to be really dangerous. Well, even in round 3, man, I'm not going to invest heavily in this opening fight, but Rodriguez has only lost by decisions. He's never been finished. So yeah, give me Rodriguez in the opener.
I was at the JSP Lozon fight, and I'm telling you, the crowd in Boston for Lozon was almost louder than any crowd I've been to at any pay-per-view. I've been at Hasmat versus Burns. I've been in Vegas. That crowd for Lozon, it was impossible for Lozon to lose that fight. So I know people always point to that.
He dominated too.
I know. And I know JSP was a huge favorite. That was JSP's UFC debut in Boston against a Lozon who would have beat anybody outside the top 10 that night. It was just like a crazy
within 2 minutes. If he
it's just, but yeah, here I do think it is Christian Rodriguez's fight to lose. He was a minus 225 favorite against Garrett Armfield. Surprised it was that low. Probably be about that or higher here. So yeah, JSP walked into a death trap where Lozon was like plus 200 too. So again, you got to pay attention to these spots. This is not one for Weems, in my opinion.
Both guys have been super active as well in the past couple of years.
Yep, very true. Next fight, one of the other short notice replacements. This is the one that I feel was an improvement. And I like Clayton Rodriguez. I just like Carlos Mota much more. LFA stand here, so you know that I'm going to love Carlos. Only loss coming in the 5th round to Charles Johnson in a really, really good competitive fight. Charles Johnson, again, if you people don't understand how good Charles Johnson is, you will in his next fight. That's just all I got to say. I'm really excited to see him back in there. The way
does he have a matchup yet or no?
I believe he does, but I'm not.
If not, him versus Malcolm Gordon. That should be good.
Oh, please give him P-pad. But yeah, Cody Durden versus Carlos Mota here. Very good fight here for the flyweight division. Hard to find unranked flyweights where it's interesting, but here it is. Carlos Mota. I will be going into him first here. I won't go into everybody's records and through it all, but for a guy like Carlos DeZiel, I do like to, mention it. First of all, if you interact with him on social media, he will interact with you back. And then C-Rod at Fight Ready. Okay, yeah, gotcha. He's at Fight Ready now, not Rufus Sport. Good to know. Thank you, Kazaguni.
Okay.
Durden as a dog, check mark. Cody Durden as a favorite, no. I guess we'll talk about Cody in a second. Carlos though, 8-1 here, as I said, 1 loss coming.
Fight Ready's even better than Rufus Sport. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, at this point in 2022, I would agree with that. Rufus Sport is about 5 to 6 years out of relevance at this point. 2 straight wins though for Carlos coming into this. Yes, one was against Steve Merrill, but he did beat Steve Merrill in a minute 30, which, is something. Merrill's usually at least tough, but yeah, put him away there with a brutal body kick. His Muay Thai is vicious. Had the left hook finish of the Rizvan Abuev, who also was very battle tested coming into that main event. out of, I believe, Latvia, if I remember correctly. But yeah, just really made him look amateur, frankly, in that fight. Really impressive finish there. Held his own against Charles Johnson. Again, really good size for the weight class. George Martinez was the debut with LFA, which really put him onto the scene. George Martinez was a pretty decent favorite coming into that fight. Mota has good takedown defense, good cardio, good conditioning overall. And I will be doing Bellator. We'll be doing Bellator on Thursday, actually.
We can do quick picks if you want. But.
Yeah, we're probably got. Well, let's wait till Thursday.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a 15 fight card. So.
Yeah, it's 15 fight card. I'm sure there's going to be some changes to Bellator before now too. These European cards have changes, so we're waiting until Thursday around the same time though. So, but yeah, with this fight, I just I'm a huge LFA guy. I've been a huge fan of what I've seen of Mota through his LFA career. With Cody Durden, very, tenacious guy. He's an okay wrestler, good wrestler against guys who can't wrestle, which we saw with his debut there against Gutierrez at the 10-8 first round before slowing down and Gutierrez taking over. Really gives me some hope for Frankie Edgar in his retirement fight that he can just wrestle Gutierrez all day long, because I think that's what's going to happen there. But anyways, back to this fight. Flying triangle by Jimmy Flick, who's making his return to MMA after being an author for a year. What the hell were you thinking, Jimmy Flick? Archie Lang, again, Archie Lang couldn't wrestle, so Cody wins. Like, if you can't wrestle, you're going to probably lose to Cody Durden because he's going to wrestle you and, kind of use some decent striking to get inside. JP Buys, he was able to knock out because JP Buys is JP Buys. Makayev put him away in a minute. I think Carlos Mota is going to be the first to really expose the striking of Cody Durden in his career. For the most part, I do think that Cody Durden is just overeager on the grappling, and that's where he gets in trouble. He is a very tough guy, but I just think Carlos Mota is the real deal, man. So give me Carlos Mota. I think he gets a finish. But I could definitely see this one going to distance as well, because I think both guys are very tough. So if I had to make a play here, I took Mota as soon as it opened at plus 125. I believe he's moved to a favorite at this point. Over 2.5 would be where I would edge overall here, but I'll take Mota.
Yeah, I'm just checking quick if they put the odds up for the last fight we broke down, but it doesn't look like it yet.
No, I wouldn't think yet. No.
But yeah, this is a good matchup. Mota coming in short notice as well. Durden coming in on a full camp. He was supposed to fight Klitzen or no?
Klitzen Rodriguez.
Klitzen Rodriguez, who is a similar fighter, actually, a good Muay Thai fighter, striker. Carlos Mota, dangerous on the feet. He attacks the body very well. 2 finishes by body kick, left hook. Very, very dangerous. So I got Carlos Mota probably by knockout if he wins. But Cody Durden, I am actually pretty high on Durden. He's been getting better each fight. He's in the prime of his career. He's also training with Trey Gore. I'm not very high on Trey Gore, but they're both training together at American Top Team Atlanta with the Lima brothers. So much UFC experience. His 5th UFC fight here. He's only lost to good opposition like Jimmy Flick, Makayev, Jared Scoggins. I think he's proving himself. He's beaten UFC like good caliber opposition. I'm going to go Durden by decision or a late stoppage, but I am worried about that knockout by Carlos Mota.
Yeah, this is a really good fight. Like I said, I think that there's very, very good chance that Durden can kind of grind this out, and especially with the full camp. But yeah, I thought he was
going to be a heavier favorite, to be honest.
Durden
coming in, yeah, like minus 170, maybe 180.
Yeah.
What is he? And this is almost even money you're getting him at.
Yeah, and Kelly's saying no chance taking the short notice as a favorite. Hard pass on the fight. Too volatile. Fair enough. I'm going to
take Durden, but hedge bet Mota by knockout or round 1.
Yeah, should be an interesting one there. Next fight
we
here.
differ on that one.
Yeah, we differ. So didn't happen too much last week, but this week
No.
we differ early on. This fight is a weird fight. Chase Hooper's fighting, so of course it's weird. But now training with in South Carolina at Simpsonville with the Thompsons. So allegedly Chase is going to be working on his striking. It's going to be improving every fight. Here coming against Steve Garcia, who got knocked out by Mahate in his last fight there.
Nasty.
The striking defense was so bad, just really, really bad. Overall, I just don't really trust Steven Garcia all that much. And I kind of see a lot of people who are like kind of liking him as a dog in this spot. I don't really get it, honestly. I could see him walking into a knee that rocks him into the takedown. And then some, like, I know it's kind of crazy to say Chase Hooper club and sub is a very in play here, but Chase Hooper club and sub is how I see this going, to be honest. I think he's going to land something that he shouldn't when Garcia leaves himself open. And once it gets to the ground, I think it can be over pretty quickly for Hooper. So I do like the submission finish for Chase Hooper. So give me it. I think Chase does show some improvements to striking in this spot too.
Yeah, we're seeing the evolution of Chase Hooper every single fight. This will be his sixth UFC fight, 3-2 in the UFC, losing to Steven Peterson and Alex Caceres. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're seeing him get better every fight, landing 140 strikes his last fight out. He looked like a Khabib out there, getting that third round finish. That was definitely his best performance to date. Steve Garcia, his fourth fight in the UFC, starting 1-2, losing to Machete, like you said, in a minute and 14 seconds. Yeah, and then Luis Pena in his UFC debut. One split to Ricky Turquoise, who's an okay fighter. Yeah, he really didn't look great in his last fight, but he is a good fighter. And
then Gore moved to Fortis.
Never been high on Steve Garcia. Pardon?
Yeah. Gore moved to Fortis according to MMA.
Oh, wow.
So appreciate it. It's hard to stay on top of all that. They're all changing, but appreciate the info.
Yeah, so I guess he's not at American Top Team Atlanta anymore. Yep. But Chase Hooper's just getting better and better. He's only 23. He was in the UFC at like 19. I think we broke Chase Hooper down in the past. Mm-hmm. I'm on the Hooper train. Give me him by decision, or I don't think he's gonna knock him down or anything, but he could hurt him on the feet, and then even if Steve Garcia takes Hooper down, he's gonna reverse him. He's got multiple reversals. He's so tricky on the ground, man.
And Steve Garcia does result to the wrestling usually in his fights. So.
Yeah, he's got takedowns in every UFC fight, I think. So he's just going to put himself into a risky...
What do you think about minus 240 on Chase Hooper?
Man.
Can you imagine laying that down and recommending that to other people? You can't. Pass.
No. I'm just going to check his recent odds. He was an underdog his last fight.
When's the last time Chase Hooper was minus 250 in the UFC?
Yeah, he lost as a minus 200 before, so.
Right. Oh, my God.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't parlay. Maybe do. No, dude, you can do double chance submission or decision, but that won't even improve the odds that much.
No, make it like minus 210.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Oof. I mean, if I have to, I'll put in my 5 money line parlay for Zhang Li, just because I have to. But that's the only thing I'll suggest here. Otherwise,
yes. And Steve Garcia has been submitted to Alon Cruz in a minute and 47 seconds.
Yeah, so he doesn't like Steve Garcia. Doesn't like these long, lengthy guys.
No, man.
All of them
could be an early sub.
Yeah, like it. That first round sub could be a nice play to try to make some money. Next fight is at 185. I think this is one of the more exciting fights on the card, which kind of lets you know about the level of this card. But Joseph Ugly Man Holmes, LFA, my LFA guy, my LFA dude, against Young Park here, the Iron Turtle here. So Iron Turtle, not one of the bigger guys in this division, but definitely one of the most well-rounded. Good on the feet, good on the ground. Just good everywhere. Has a good gas tank for the most part. Pretty durable, except for when he's not, which has happened a couple times now. The RoboCop knockout, I'm not going to hold that against him. Honestly, until that, he was looking really good against RoboCop. And then just RoboCop'd him. And then, it's like the Eric Anders fight. Did he win that? I went back and watched that. I scored it for Anders, but that's okay. I mean, it was a close fight. It's competitive. Definitely, a guy in Anders who's one of the bigger guys at 185, one of the more physical
experience
guys,
too.
More experience. And Junior Park didn't look over the top there. And some people saying wouldn't be surprised about the Hooper ground and pound. Yeah, I'd agree. I don't disagree with the ground and pound being in play too.
Yeah, knockout prop might be good.
Yeah, it could be good. The Tafan and Chukwi fight. Again, like he's been in there with some really big physical guys. His losses coming to Anthony Hernandez and Gregory Rodriguez.
And that was in his UFC debut, I believe.
I just think, Anders didn't do shit, but cage control Anders beat himself. Either way, I think that with this fight, we could see a lot of the similar type of approach from Holmes. I think we're going to see a lot of him attempting cage control, leaning against him, trying to kind of maybe work the body, try to work for takedowns, because Holmes, I do think, is going to be looking to use his grappling in this fight. I do think that on the feet, I think Junior Park can really just keep a distance with his boxing and keep a pace that I think Holmes is going to struggle with. For me, Holmes is still very kind of undone here. I think he got to the UFC a little too early. 6'4", good size, 80-inch reach, 27 years old still. Coming off that win of Alan Amedovski. Okay. A no-hook choke with a no-hook rear naked choke. I'm not gonna rate that. He lost.
They were on the same card too.
He lost to Jamie Pickett by getting exposed by the gas tank and just the overall well-roundedness of Pickett. I just think Park does similar things. I mean, the people who Holmes beat to get into UFC were Shante Barnes, which wasn't that impressive, and then Javante Pati, which we all know Jonathan Pati at this point. Not Javante Pati.
He's like a 500 record fighter.
Absolute can. So for me, I love Park in this spot. Zhang Li, this will be in my 5-piece money line parlay. I think the price is absolutely accurate here on Park. I think he's one of the safest spots on the card.
Yeah, for sure, man. Him and Chase Hooper are similar odds, but I'm a lot more
confident. I'm way more comfortable with Park being those odds.
Yeah, absolutely. Park has faced like just the better caliber opposition at this point. He's settled into the UFC by now, 6 UFC fights. Joseph Holmes, they just fed him to one of the worst fighters in the UFC, Alan Amedovski. If he didn't finish Amedovski, then that would have been an issue. Jamie Pickett, he did get a round off Pickett, but he also came in short notice. So props to Holmes coming in there short notice. But I like Park's game overall. He's actually really good at takedowns. He hasn't shown it in his past couple fights, but he's got good grappling, great striking, more experience. He's only lost to the best opposition. Like you said, it might be a little too early for Holmes to be in the UFC. Only 10 professional fights so far. Park, this will be his 20th professional fight, so I'll take Park by unanimous decision.
Yeah, no, I think I see it. I like the decision too. I just think you don't need to take down Holmes. I do think Holmes has some good sweeps, and if he's on top, that is where Holmes can win this fight. On the feet, he can just box him for 3 rounds pretty comfortably, and just with the volume, with the movement and everything, he'll have the speed advantage here against Joseph Holmes.
We could see some new wrinkles in Holmes' game being at Glory MMA now. But this will be a learning lesson for him. Like he's gonna gain a lot of X factors in this fight.
Yeah, exactly. If Holmes wins this fight, he's way better than I thought he was. I'll say that much. Next fight here, heavyweight fight. These two guys trained together. It's the second time now. Recently, where Arlovski's faced a training partner, went to a decision with Felipe Lins and won that one against a training partner. This is Rogerio, another training partner. Rogerio, early on KO. is my pick, but Arlovski getting a decision would not shock me. I just think it's time. KO Rogerio. I'm going to go as short as I think the fight goes.
Yeah, that was a
Like,
quick
I just don't think there's much to, like, we can try, like, I think it is as simple as first round Rogerio or a decision for Arlovski. Like, sorry, I don't buy Rogerio's gas tank. I don't buy Arlovski's chin or really desire to like fight through a huge fire at this point. And there's a possibility because they train together that they kind of end up turning into a sparring match. And if that's the case, Arlovski all day.
Arlovski will win then, yeah, if it's on the feed. And it's a smaller cage, right? Is this in the UFC Apex?
Yeah, it has to be the Apex, and it's no crowd.
Yeah, so this will benefit Marcos being on the smaller cage. Andrei likes to use that footwork,
right?
And he doesn't have the best takedown defense. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, good grappler, decent on the feet. How many? Yeah, 14 out of 19 out of his wins are in round one. Nine under 3 minutes. Arlovski has been knocked out 11 times. Give me Arlovski by decision just in case, because if it does go to the scorecards.
Yeah, you're getting plus money Arlovski with a decision.
Yeah, I think he's plus money straight up. So
no, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah, I'm just gonna check right now. Arlovski by decision is
he's plus 190 straight up, minus 250 on Rogerio.
Yeah, plus 275 by decision.
Yeah, this will
or Marcos by round one. Knockout.
Yeah, and then how much longer can Arlovski get away with it? It's like Paul Craig, eventually your luck runs out. Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to say this is a spot, but these three in a row to be minus 250, the only one who I feel is truly, truly earning that price is Park. Like, I would not want a minus 250 price on Rogerio, because imagine how you're feeling at the 301 mark with Rogerio and a minus 250 ticket, and then Chase Hooper minus 250. It's just, So some rough prices here. And
he could win by a decision, or like Marcos Rogerio de Lima. You never know with the judges if it does go all 3 rounds.
And then
Andrei does have good takedown defense too.
Yeah, MMA Jesus. If this was close to a pick'em, which I thought maybe it would, then I would have hammered de Lima. High first round upside, higher chance of winning the second round than Arlovski. De Lima isn't getting finished.
It seems to always be safe to bet the over on Andrei Arlovski.
And then they're totally baiting you to take that dog. Take the dog. Look at the props. Yeah, I know. This is dirty.
I would maybe just skip.
Stay away. Stay away. Stay away.
This fight doesn't even exist.
Yeah, this next fight is probably actually my real fight of the night. Besides,
is this the main card now?
This is the feature prelim, actually. Okay. Somehow this is on the feature prelims of this card. But Philip Hawes, hyped up former prospect versus Roman Dolidze, hyped up former prospect. Now these guys are just solid middleweights, and we'll kind of see which one has worked on the gas tank more, which one, is going to be able to get the top control in the wrestling more. And then Pro Schmoes vet. Arlovski will get a 5-fight win streak. He was a UFC champion. Yes, he was.
Back in the future.
Yeah, exactly. But de Lima is at best a light heavyweight. Okay, if you don't think de Lima has legit heavyweight power, I don't know what to tell you. Roman Dolidze versus Phil Hawes. This is a tough fight to call. It's a very good fight. Both these guys are very physical. Phil Hawes is going to be a little bit smaller here. But the strength, I think, is going to be pretty similar. Phil Hawes, 12-3 now. Got rid of the prospect title at 33 years old. Killcliff MMA beat down Duran Win. Just absolute beating, smothering.
Oh, performance of the night.
Yeah, but it's Duran Win. So, like, how sold are you on that? He's
still a short, scrappy fighter to take on.
Yeah. I was at 268 where he was having a very good run of things until he got cracked by Curtis. And then, he had his debut against Malkoun, where he knocked him out clean in 18 seconds. That's definitely aged well. Has a majority win over Imavov. I mean, Hawes, and then a really good win over Daukaus by decision. Hawes is pretty legit. Does mix it up well. Good power on the feet. But like honestly, like he's going against a very different matchup here. He's going from an extremely undersized middleweight to a legit size middleweight in Delice. And it's just one of these spots where I'm not really sure if Hawes is going to use the proper game plan here. I worry that Hawes is really going to push and, spam for the takedowns and start to really gas himself by struggling to take down just the bigger and, well-built Delice, who is an ADC champion, good judo background. He's just physically built as well. I think Delice might be able to frustrate Hawes early into a kind of a stand-up battle. And I personally think Delice has taken a little bit more of steps forward in his overall game. And for me, I think this is two guys who want to grapple, who end up having to stay on the feet for the most part. And I think it's going to be pretty close and competitive. And in that case, give me the plus money. And I'm going to take Delice to get the upset here and win a decision. I think it's going to be a close one. And yeah, everything like that. And it's going to be very competitive, but I like having plus money in a spot like this. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet it or not, but you can get Delice at plus 140. I'm pretty shocked at that price. I think Hawes is getting a little bit overrated here off that performance against a 5'8" middleweight.
Yeah, but he did what he had to do. Like, he destroyed him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you're taking Mr. Steal Your Girl, huh?
Yeah, Delice did what he had to do in that last fight against Daukaus, where I was very confident on Daukaus. Brutal.
And that was in a minute and 13 seconds. Delice, he stole
he's had extreme couture. Yeah, he's looking better and better.
Did you know that he's with Cheyenne Bays now?
Yeah, I've heard about this story.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yeah, I mean, everybody beating JP Baez.
Yeah. And so Delice, Georgian fighter actually, but he's training out of the States now, Extreme Couture. He's
great comment by Kelly here.
Phil Hawes, gas tank is fine when he is beating up a smaller fighter. The tank issues are coming back. Yeah.
Delice's huge.
Yeah, he's
really big.
Yeah, he used to fight at light heavyweight. He made his debut at light heavyweight. Yep. Phil Hawes, big guy as well, though. And his striking is almost getting equal to his wrestling. He's been improving, man. Mm-hmm. He's got the best striking differential in the UFC middleweight division right now. He's got the best significant striking accuracy in the UFC middleweight division. He's got the third most strikes landed, but that's all because of that Durden win fight. And
that's a stat pattern.
Yeah, but that Nasruddin win, like, I hold that in such high regard. Who else? Jacob Malkoon. So he's really, man, and I think his gas issues aren't to be looked at anymore. I think he's past that. He can go strong 3 rounds. He laid an egg against Chris Curtis. That's the only blemish he has. I'm going to take Phil Hawes. I think he's just in a great spot right now, and I like what I see.
Delice also only has 1 blemish on his record. If we're gonna go that route,
he's got the one unanimous loss to Trevin Giles.
That's what I'm saying, and that was where Giles.
And he came in short notice for that fight too.
And he really has improved from that fight. So yeah, this is an interesting one. Phil Hawes, pretty big favorite here. I was surprised. I was expecting to pick him minus 170 favorite, plus 140 on Delice here. I would say dog or pass is my side on this one. Good fight. Both guys in their mid-30s, though. So either one, all of a sudden having cardio issues. Not shocking. Yeah. We're on to our 5-fight main card starting at 205. Fireworks coming here. This is a really good fight. No takedowns given.
Yeah, this will be a really good fight.
Yeah, we have a kickboxing bout to start out our MMA card. Here, Dustin Jacoby versus Julio Roundtree. For me, this is a spot where it reminds me a lot of Petrosian versus AJ Dobson from last week. AJ Dobson just decided to throw no volume and completely choke under the spotlight once again. Fortunately, with Khalil Roundtree, we have a guy who has shown up in the spotlight before. He is inconsistent, but the Warhorse, he can definitely put on a show. 10-5 overall, 32 years old, 2 straight wins for him now. Both of them coming by finish, both of them in the second round. Modestus Bukauskas with that dirty sidekick to the knee that took out his entire knee. It was just nasty. Put him away, and then Bangkok ready. Carl Roberson was not Bangkok ready, I should say, taking on Khalil. Hooks, body kicks at the beginning of the second round. I was just saying, Brandon, this fight reminds me a lot of Petrosian of Dobson of last week. Except in this spot, I feel we have someone who I can trust. Last week, I trusted Dobson in the spot. And Dobson, if he would have thrown more volume, straight up would have won that fight. He just choked in the spotlight. He's choked in the spotlight twice now. I'm not sure Dobson mentally can handle the UFC. Khalil Roundtree has shown he can handle the UFC spotlight and everything like that. I love him being in the smaller octagon. Dustin Jacoby is a slow starter as well. And that to me is the opportunity for Khalil. After the first round, and I just think Dustin does start to get on a roll. This could, definitely be a spot where we see an early finish by Khalil, though. But as the fight goes, I think Dustin gets the leg kicks going, gets the distance going, and starts to really tire out Khalil. This is another one where kind of similar to the Andrei Arlovski fight. I see the two scenarios pretty clearly in my head here. This time I'm going with the decision of Dustin Jacoby. But there's definitely a realm of possibilities where I see Khalil getting that finish early in the first or second round, and it just wouldn't shock me. 10-8 first round from Khalil is totally in the cards too, so I think the draw / split decision plays are possible. But for me, I do think Dustin Jacoby's the better kickboxer over 15 minutes. I think he can get past the first 5. So go with Jacoby, but I was tempted for Khalil here, man. Really tempted.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Khalil too, like his post-fight interviews and all that.
This is a great fight.
Yeah, really good fight. It's going to be a striking affair, obviously. Neither of these guys are going to go for takedowns. Dustin Jacoby, great range management fighter, but that won't work as well in the smaller cage. But still, he's fought in the
still distance fight in the smaller cage.
Yeah, for sure. It's a 25-footer compared to a 30-footer.
Not the most fleet of foot guy.
Yeah, he's got the Contender Series fight too, Dustin Jacoby. So yeah, he's been there, done that. Yeah. This is his second UFC stint. Actually, he's undefeated in his second UFC stint, 6-0-1. Yeah, he's very experienced kickboxer. Khalil also a kickboxer. He's only been knocked out once. Dustin Jacoby to King Mo in round 2. But yeah, Khalil can knock out like a dinosaur, man. He's a dangerous fighter, really good. But yeah, majority of his wins do come early. Dustin Jacoby, we know he's proved himself in the cardio department. We know he can outscore an opponent for 3 rounds. So give me Jacoby by decision or Khalil by an early stoppage. But I'm more leaning on Dustin Jacoby just coming in with a good blueprint here and executing.
Yeah. Fun fact, in Jacoby's first go-around, I was at his fight against Chris Camozzi. I believe it was the first UFC on Fox where Anthony Pettis knocked out Don Cerrone with the body kick like 40 seconds in. Chris Camozzi won that fight against Dustin Jacoby by 10-finger guillotine.
10 years ago now.
Yeah, 10-finger guillotine from Chris Camozzi in the UFC to beat Dustin Jacoby, and I believe get Dustin Jacoby fired from the UFC. So he's come a long way, man. Hanchuk is what is it? Hanyak versus the Warhorse here.
Yeah, really another Glory MMA fighter as well in Dustin
Another
Jacoby.
Glory kickboxing fight is what I thought you were about to say.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I love this price on Jacoby, man. -160. That is great. You can do that alone. Jacoby by decision, I do think is the most likely outcome as well. Yeah. I like him as a parlay piece as well. I think on a card like this, Dustin Jacoby is quite valuable. This next fight.
Just quickly here, Jacoby by decision is +275, so great value there.
Great value there. That would be my play for this one. First round Khalil or decision for Jacoby. Next fight, another one at 185 pounds. I've already said this, but Tresean Gordon, not a guy I am sold on at all. Or Tresean Gore, I apologize. Versus Josh Fremd. Josh Fremd, the guy where I've been sold on very, very much so since his LFA go around there. He's looked very, very good, very fleet of foot. Has had some trouble in the UFC. 9-3 now for the Big Yins out of Pennsylvania. 28 years old, now living in Colorado, where he's training full time. 6'4", 76.5-inch reach. Coming off a decision loss to Anthony Hernandez. No shame there. We've seen how Anthony Hernandez has been looking. Anthony Hernandez looking like one of the best 185ers.
And that was coming in short notice.
Yep, coming short notice. Came off of 2 straight wins to earn his way after getting knocked out from Gregory Rodriguez in Renato Vellante. We saw Renato Vellante in his last fight get a really clean knockout. Looked very good there. And then Joel Bowman, only 4-1, but very physical, very good guy. Bowman had a terrible game plan in that fight with Fremd, but Fremd is very, very high in the IQ, really good at exposing your weaknesses, and did so. Got the finish by rear naked choke over Bowman, who has won 2 straight since then.
That's the guy that admitted he has herpes or something?
Yeah, always shows up in the SNL gear after. Tresean Gore, 3-2, 2 straight losses. Brian Battle beat him on the unofficial tough finale that came, which is what it is. And then Cody Brundage, that's the fight to me. That Cody Brundage, he was having success with the wrestling. Then he just started striking. Tresean was looking good, but just Tresean volume. No volume. He doesn't throw volume. I don't get it. He almost looks like he's a fighter with 4 professional fights who's not ready to be in the UFC yet. Know why? Because that's what he is. Josh Fremd at least should be here. Josh Fremd has the IQ. He's going to start making Tresean have to move and think. That's how you beat Tresean here. Tresean has a puncher's chance here. Otherwise, Fremd cruises to me in this one. And Fremd picks up the victory. You could knock him out or submit him, but Josh Fremd takes this one all day long. Give me Josh.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Josh Fremd may be my most confident pick on the entire card.
I agree.
I like his odds as well. Tresean Gore, just too green for me. 3-2 as a professional. Like, you never see that in the UFC.
No.
I don't know what they were thinking, putting him on the Ultimate Fighter.
And keep putting him on main cards, and he's been favored.
Yeah, and before the Ultimate Fighter, I don't think he fought since 2017. So he's only has like 3 fights in like 5 years or something. But he also has that Ultimate Fighter experience. And he came off that injury, right? I can't remember what the injury was. But Josh Fremd, super active, man. He's been in there like 7 or 8 times in the last 3 years. He had a rough UFC debut, but he did steal a round, I believe.
Yep.
No, it was 30-27. But coming in short notice, Fluffy is such a good fighter. He got a takedown on him. He's an LFA vet, 4-1 in the LFA. He's just been there, done that way more than Tresean Gore at this point. I think Tresean Gore is going to get his walking papers after this 3rd loss in a row, going 0-3 in the UFC.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. -170 on Fremd is crazy value to me.
I got him in parlays already. Let's go.
Yeah, Fremd,
another Glory MMA fighter or Factory X. They're like the same thing.
And another LFA dog there in Josh Fremd. We're on the same page there. Speaking of the LFA, next fight here is at heavyweight. Jared Vandermeer. Vandermeer is not good. Allegedly, he can wrestle. Has not done that in the UFC once yet. That's what he's going to have to do here against the much better boxer in Waldo Cortez Acosta here out of the Dominican Republic, LFA heavyweight champion, coming off of the win over Thomas Peterson. We've kind of seen how Thomas Peterson is. Thomas Peterson might be significantly worse than Jared Vandermeer. Thomas Peterson does not appear to have that fight in him. He doesn't like getting hit.
I think he did win his last outing, but he's still very, very green.
Yeah, it was not. I mean, but still, Salsa Boy 7-0. Now he beat Suarez to get his contract off the Contender Series. It's all about volume again in the striking here for for Cortez Acosta, because when he gets the volume going, he's really hard to get past. That boxing is crisp. He comes from really unique angles. Doesn't put all of his power into one shot, so he is able to keep it kind of going. Meanwhile, Jared Vandermeer, 1 win in his last 6, and it came against Justin Tafa by decision. Other than that, he's not using his wrestling. He's getting in there and striking. He got submitted by Alexei Oleinik 2 fights ago. Chase Sherman knocked him out 3 months ago, and he's already back here. I'm just not going to overthink this, man. I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is used to the smaller octagon from his fight against Suzart there. Thomas Peterson was able to show that he does have takedown defense as well and able to use the movement. You just can't let Vandermeer lean against him and get on top of him and lay there. That's it. Waldo finds the KO somewhere inside the first 2.
Yeah, he really should. Vandermeer has been knocked out 3 times, 1-5 in the UFC to start his UFC career. But he has shown, glimpses of what he's capable of. But he thinks he can strike. He's not a good striker, like you said. He thinks he can strike, and he gets caught up into these striking battles, and it usually doesn't work out for him. He was winning that Chase Sherman fight, but then he got brutally knocked out. He seems to fight every other month. He's very active, and but I think Waldo Cortez Acosta is the more polished striker. He's got the better fight IQ. You can say that against anybody. You can say that about anybody fighting Jared Vandermeer. They're going to have the better fight IQ.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely better at striking, and that's what Jared's going to do. And even as an amateur, Waldo has got 5 knockouts, all under 3 minutes. So yeah, he can get the job done early. But I'm going to take Waldo round 2 knockout. I think Jared survives, but he's going to get beat up pretty bad here, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've seen a few interviews with Jared Vandermeer leading up to this fight, because I'd rather watch interviews than this fight tape. And at least that's somewhat entertaining. But he is mentioning he wants to use his wrestling here. He wants to use his grappling. He can't do that for longer than a round. That's why he doesn't do it. He cuts to 265. Waldo comes in usually around 255, 260 as well. So that's, it's just Vandermeer can't fight the way he needs to win this fight.
He's not a true professional. He's not a true professional, in my opinion.
So Waldo had this fight announced, 2 months ago? They announced this fight right after Waldo won on the Contender Series. So,
and I would take Waldo against all 3 of those fighters that he fought. I would take Waldo to beat all of them.
I agree. Yeah. Very, very much on the same page there.
What are the odds on that one?
Oh, sorry. -200 on Waldo, which I love for parlays here. +170 on Vandermeer. I expect that price to get further.
Yeah. Money's going to come in on Waldo.
Yeah, I would get it now. But next fight here is at 170. Tim Means, Dirty Bird versus Max Griffin. I think this is an extremely close fight. I think these guys are very similar in a lot of ways. I've been kind of back and forth on this one. For me, Max Griffin coming off of could you say it's a good performance against Neil Magny? It went to split.
He lost.
Yeah, but he lost. But, it was an okay
He got a knockdown.
Yeah, he got a knockdown. It was competitive. Before that, here's the wins. Ramiz Rahamij, who I rate as less than legit. I just don't think he's great. Kenan
knocked his ear off.
Yeah, Kenan Song. There's nothing special about Kenan Song to me. Probably his best win, though, of his last 3. And then Carlos Condit, who was getting out of a retirement home for that fight.
Yeah.
Max Griffin, to me, is pretty standard on the feet. Doesn't throw a lot besides the boxing to me. And I think he's a little bit lower volume and slower than Tim Means here, even at 38. I think Tim Means is just got a lot more of his dog in him. I think I think this is going to look a lot like Mike Perry versus Tim Means to me. I think it's I think that Griffin pretty much fights pretty similar to Mike Perry, works behind his boxing, will shoot for takedowns offensively, but defensively has lapses. And I just think Tim Means can, exploit those similarly to how he exploited Mike Perry in that fight. Takedown defense and then just increase the volume, increase the diversity on the striking here. For me, Tim Means, 38 years old now. This is going to be his 47th fight. So, definitely got to give him credit there. Went to the second round against Kevin Holland, got Darce choked in that one. He was looking okay in that one, but honestly, I just think over his last 5 even, you look at it, and he loses to the guys he's supposed to lose to, the Daniel Rodriguez's of the world, the Kevin Hollands, and then Staropoli, overrated, beat him. Mike Perry, who I think this fight looks like, beat him with the volume.
Perry missed weight too, did the dab.
Exactly. and everything like that. And then Nicholas Dalby, another guy who, pretty much pretty one-dimensional on the feet and likes to mix up the takedowns. I just think this is a spot that Tim Means is made to win as a dog. I think that he is just going to frustrate Griffin. I think Griffin's going to start to tire as this fight goes, and Tim Means wins another decision, 4th decision in his last 5.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I'm obligated to take the split decision prop on this fight because Max
Griffin a split prop fight.
Yeah, Max Griffin has lost by 5 decisions, and no, he's lost by 8 decisions. 5 of them have been split. Crazy. So yeah, I'm definitely taking that prop bet. Yep. And they're both getting on the older side, reaching their 40s. It's great matchmaking here. I like the fight. Max Griffin does not have a pretty UFC record. He's 6-7, but like I said, a lot of split decision losses that he really got robbed on, in my opinion. Tim Means, definitely a scrappy fighter, great striker, man. I really like Tim Means' game. He's actually good on the ground too. He's got crafty submissions. But Max Griffin, yeah, dangerous early, but he tends to fade. He lost to Kobe Covington in round 3. He's lost on the Ultimate Fighter in round 3, all those decisions. So yeah, he's going to be dangerous early, but as the rounds go on, Tim Means is going to pick up the pace and the volume. Even at 38, I think his conditioning still on point. 47 professional fights. Man, I'm a big fan of Tim Means. Maybe I'm biased, but
I agree
yeah, I like Means probably by decision.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, split decision prop all day, guys. Let's get that money. That's going to be like plus 1,000 maybe.
Yeah, and Max Griffin minus 175 here. I don't get it.
That's not bad. Yeah,
I don't get it.
Oh wait, Max Griffin is minus 175.
Right.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah.
We got a dog here.
Yeah, we got a dog that we are taking plus 150 on Tim Dirty Bird Means. Get it now.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
It might be a split. But
hey, if you got a split, you want the plus 150 ticket. You don't want a minus 200.
No.
Like that. Anytime you get odds like that where you genuinely expect them to be the other way.
Max Griffin is usually the underdog, I think. He was the underdog his last fight. I mean,
they're giving him a lot of respect for that split decision loss to Neil Magny, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Teach their own. Arnold Allen versus Calvin Kattar. Awesome main event here. 5 rounds, 5th or 6th straight main event for Calvin Kattar. Can we give this man some respect? Goddamn, it's crazy the route he's been on. And then he's facing a guy in Arnold Almighty Allen, 11-fight UFC win streak. He hasn't lost in the UFC. He's 11-0. It's been around for a while. Been around for a while. First main event, correct.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's a huge factor. You go back and you look at the wins and very good, wins. Skip the first couple. The split over Americani, I think he learned a lot, but it does show, I think, a chink that Kattar's just going to be able to exploit in 5 rounds. If this is a 3-round fight, I'm really leaning much more towards Arnold Allen. This being a 5-round fight is a huge advantage to Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar's been to this dance 5 straight times.
Mm-hmm,
he knows how to prepare for 5 rounds. He's learned. The other thing I really like about Kattar is he's learned from his losses, and he's coming off of a tough loss to Emmett. That was a very competitive fight there.
I had Kattar in that fight.
Exactly. I had Emmett, but I'm biased. So, but
and it was fight of the night.
It was a fight of the night, and it was, again, a spot where I think Kattar really learns how to manage his 5-round tank here. Wins over guys like Gilbert Melendez, obviously, back in the day, Nick Lentz. But then it's the last couple for Arnold Allen that have impressed me more. The Sadiq Youssef fight, that was 2 very, very high-quality opponents. It was 3 rounds, though, and we saw Arnold. He was slowing down that 3rd round. Arnold's going to stack up maybe a round or 2 early, maybe. But this is one for me that I think Kattar can come out and get the edge early and just not look back. I really think that Kattar's just got that dog in him, man. That I know Arnold Allen's very good. Does Arnold Allen have that dog in him? I don't know. I don't think he does. I think Calvin exploits that over 5 rounds here. 23-6 for Calvin Kattar, 5'11", 3-inch reach advantage as well for him here. Significant advantage on the feet, underrated on the ground.
Never been knocked out.
Yeah, underrated on the ground and keeping on the ground. The Giga Kachazian fight really showed a lot of his level of striking, and over 5 rounds how he can increase that pace. And I think that's going to be huge in this fight. I think Arnold Allen's got to get a finish early. Like early on in this fight, I think he's going to slow too much as this fight goes. On the feet, there's a huge gap. And I just don't think Arnold's going to have the gas as this fight goes on. 3 rounds, I'm having a much tougher time making a choice, I'll be honest, because I do think Arnold could steal, the first, 7.5 to 10 minutes of a fight and win a fight. But over 25 minutes, I think that Kattar expands his lead. I think he opens up Arnold in this fight, and I think he just shows that main event experience. And he's taking off a proper amount of time after fights too, which I like. Again, he hasn't fought since June. Didn't take a huge beating in there against Emmett also. So showing like from the Max Holloway fight where he's willing to take every shot and just walk through him, that he's evolved now. We saw with Giga, he wasn't willing to just take every shot to walk through him. He was willing to be more evasive. I think he uses that again here. I like Kattar by decision here. But I think this is a good fight. If Arnold wins this one, man, he's ready for the big show. But a win over Dan Hooker is just not enough for me to be convinced you're ready for this spot.
Yeah, if Arnold Allen wins this fight, I think he gets a title shot. That'll be 10-0 in the UFC. But this is a huge step up in competition.
Agreed.
Well, Dan Hooker at featherweight, he was a drained fighter.
Yeah.
Arnold Allen did what he had to do, knocked him out. He also beat Sadiq Youssef and Nick Lentz in the past 3 years. Those are his only fights. He's not that active. Kattar has proven himself time and time again in the big show, in the big spotlight. He's so tough, man. Like, his beard is incredible. He can take any shot. I don't think he's ever been knocked down. He's never been knocked out. And look at the fighters he's faced. Josh Emmett. That's a great example right there.
Yeah. I'll go to his. I mean, look how he looked against Zabit. I think the Zabit fight is going to look very similar. And what was everybody saying with the Zabit fight? If that was 5 rounds, who's winning?
Yeah. Sadiq stole the round 3. I'm pretty sure.
Kattar, you're saying.
Yeah,
exactly. That's another fight where it's just like, look at the guys Kattar's faced throughout his UFC career. Just go to the beginning. Andre Fili, Shane Burgos, Moicano,
unbelievable.
Ricardo Lamas, Sabit Magomed Shapirov, Jeremy Stevens, Danny Ige, Max Holloway, Giga Chikazian, and Josh Emmett. Is that the top 15 in the featherweight, or is that Kattar?
And Arnold Allen is facing Nick Lentz and Sadiq Youssef and
Gilbert Melendez.
That was his retirement fight.
Being a skeleton. This is all day, Calvin.
And I don't think Arnold Allen has ever performed in the UFC Apex, so this will be a different environment for him as well. Yes, I'm on the same boat as you. We're not gonna argue about this main event. We're on the same page. Yeah. Calvin Kattar, most likely by decision, but he could get a late stoppage. Arnold Allen has never went 5 rounds. He has been scheduled for a 5-round fight. He's the former made for the cage champion, but he won that in round 2. So, yeah, the longer this fight goes, it's going to be Kattar. Maybe check out the live odds as this fight progresses.
I agree. And Calvin plus 100, plus 105 right now. Can still get him as a dog. This is a fight when it was announced, and I did my first who do I think is going to win? I'll admit I said Arnold, and then it's one that the more I've thought about, I've looked into, put the intangibles together. Calvin taking time off, working with his team really intelligently as he's progressed in his career here. I like Calvin in this spot. So,
and he probably has a bad taste in his mouth still from that last fight. He wants to, just get over that.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't rush into anything here. Real quick, we'll go through our quick
Allen
picks.
did call out Kattar though. Like Arnold Allen wanted this fight. So
yeah, well, he gets his wish here. To me, we got a fighter versus a tactician as well. And yes, tacticians win the fights plenty of times, but I just think this becomes bloody and gets greasy as it goes, and that's Calvin for me. So
those elbows, man.
So quick, we'll do our quick picks here, and I'll also mention the 5-fight parlay for Zhang Li here. Starting at the bottom, Joshua Weems versus Christian Rodriguez. I got Christian Rodriguez here, probably getting a decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Rodriguez, late finish or a decision. Yeah, he's just has to be weary of the first couple rounds.
Yeah, I think just be careful of the submission, I think, for the most part. Cody Durden versus Mota at 125. Great 125 fight here. I got Mota catching that KO early.
Yeah, I just Mota's coming in here short notice. I just like Cody Durden to get the job done.
Get it?
Yeah, he's a workhorse. Cody Durden by decision.
Yep, totally reasonable choice there. Kattar, way more composed. I agree. Next fight, Chase Hooper versus Steve Garcia. I got Chase Hooper, ground and pound or submission. He finds it.
Yeah, even if Steve Garcia takes him down, it's Chase Hooper's world, and that's what I see happening, and eventually he's going to get the stoppage.
Yeah, and I do have Chase Hooper as the first leg on the 5-leg parlay. He's going to make it on there because I got to do a 5-fight parlay for Zhang Li. So Chase Hooper, first leg there. Joseph Holmes versus Junyoung Park. Junyoung Park, boxing decision for me, and the second leg of my parlay.
Yeah, I think this is just too much of a step up in competition for Holmes, coming off that win to Amadovsky. I don't know what the UFC's doing here. I like Park, probably one of my most confident picks.
Yeah, shout out to Dome, Noah, just my 2 cents. Moise, appreciate the support, boys. Next one, heavyweights, Arlovski versus Rogerio de Lima. I picked Rogerio de Lima to get the KO early.
Yeah, Arlovski 43 now. He can pull off a decision, but other than that, oh man, this is one of those fights I'm just gonna probably skip.
Yeah, well, you got to pick.
I will go Andrei by decision.
Okay, good.
I'm doing it.
That's a good disagreement. I like that.
Yeah.
That makes it way more fun. Delete versus Hawes here. I got Delete by decision.
This is another one we disagree on. Phil Hawes. I like what I'm seeing in his past couple fights, other than Chris Curtis, obviously. But it's like in hockey, you're gonna have a bad game. Like he's gonna have a bad fight once in a while. It's just these guys only perform 3 times a year. So yeah, Phil Hawes. I got Phil Hawes by decision, I guess.
Fair enough. I think all 3 of our disagreements pretty legit there. Dustin Jacoby versus Khalil Roundtree. I got Dustin Jacoby by decision. He is the third leg of the parlay.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Jacoby decision if he wins, it will be a decision. Khalil's really tough to get out of there. Yep. But yeah, I am worried about Khalil striking early.
Yeah, Trey Gore versus Josh Fremd. I like a late TKO for Josh Fremd or a decision. And fourth leg of the parlay, very confident in Josh Fremd.
Yeah, I already have him in some parlays. He could even get it done in round 1 like Cody Brundage.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, all day. Josh
Fremd. My parlays as well, including one with Walter Cortez Acosta, as I have him by TKO round 1 over Jared Vandermeer.
Yeah, I'm not putting money on Jared Vandermeer, so Waldo all day.
Yep, and Waldo is the 5th leg of the parlay. So my parlay for this card, because you got to do a 5-leg for Zhang Li.
Have they ever hit, Aaron? Or
yeah,
hit a couple.
Yeah, probably about a third to. I should keep track. I'll keep track this upcoming year, but more than a third of the time this hits. Yes. Yeah, you definitely have made money making this bet. But Chase Hooper, June Park, or Park, whatever.
Jun Young Park. Yeah.
Jun Young Park. Yes, there we
The
go.
Korean guy.
Jun Young Park, Dustin Jacoby, Josh Fremd, and Walter Cortez Acosta is my 5-piece parlay there. We'll finish off the card here.
You know the odds for the 5 altogether?
I'll put it in the description.
Okay, yeah.
Tim Means versus Max Griffin here in the co-main event. Really good fight. I like the split. It could be a possible split, but I like Tim Means' volume and diversity in the striking to win the edge-out decision.
Yeah.
Underdog here at plus 150.
Yep. Absolutely. Both these guys are very experienced. I see it going over 2.5, and I like Tim Means to steal a decision here. But Max Griffin, take them both by split.
Yeah. And then the main event, got the underdog again in Calvin Kattar. Can't believe he's the underdog here, but I'm going to take it. 5-round experience, way better level of competition. He's faced, 5-6 people, I think, at the level or above the level of Arnold Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Arnold Allen's faced 0 at the level above the level of Calvin Kattar. Kattar gets the decision here.
Rude awakening for Arnold Allen, in my opinion.
Back-to-back dogs we agree on to end out the card here. You got to love
Kattar's the underdog?
Kattar's plus 105 underdog.
Oh, my God. No way. All right.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And Weems just messaged me, been at the dock. Sorry, man. He's just not going to be able to make it on.
Tell him we understand. All the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I meant all respect. But that is going to do it for the UFC Vegas 63 card here. Good luck to Josh on Saturday and all the other fighters, of course. We will be back on Thursday at about this time, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, for the Bellator preview show from Milan, Italy. 15 fights on the card. We're waiting until Thursday because there's going to be some changes there. So we will cover those, but that's going to do it for the UFC show. I want to thank you, Brandon, for making the time once again. It's been good working with you.
Yeah.
Again, all the love to Durden. He has started a new job, so, he's working on that and everything. But Kattar, a dog, great indeed. Just my 2 cents. Always loved it on that page.
That just made my day, actually.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple where it's like, he's the dog? Okay, let's go. So we got our dogs and everything. Great show, Brandon. Do you need to let people know where to contact you or where to find you?
Yeah, for sure. Facebook is definitely the best outlet. Brandon Piper, you'll see my MMA wagers profile picture. I do picks every weekend, so just hit me up and I'll explain everything to you, how it works. And just hit me up if you ever want to talk MMA.
Yep. But best of luck. Just my 2 cents. Moise, Noah, Kelly, everybody else in the chat. Appreciate all the support. We'll be back on Thursday for the Bellator show from Milan, Italy. Peace out, everybody. Keep taking care of each other.